Think you cannot see all the stars and do your best. I don't know your sign. WMSC Upper Montclair. My name's Aiden Ivers, and this is the Tuesday Morning Buzz. Good morning.
Good morning, Aiden.
Yay. We are joined by some people on Zoom and some people in the studio. And on Zoom, we have our co-host, Jake Getz.
Good morning.
Our newscaster, Lisbeth Godoy. And our producer, Lara Zaccardi. And in the studio, we have segment host Emily McCormack and sportscaster George Calasia. First off, how are you guys' breaks?
Fantastic.
Oh, geez. I did nothing. It was great.
Yeah, no, I didn't do anything either.
I think it's good to be back.
Mhm.
Now that we're here, we're back in the studio, we're back on Zoom, we're here to do what's important, get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we've got some news to get through from our newscaster, Lisbeth. So, Lisbeth, what's going on in the world of news today?
It would appear we can't hear the...
One sec, Lisbeth. We'll get that. We're trying to get that audio. Sorry. The Zoom is on. The Zoom fader is on. And
Louise, what will we do without our newscast? Oh no. Panic button.
Yeah, we can hear Jake, but can't hear Elizabeth. Let's maybe try fixing your mic a little bit. Maybe like
USB microphones are just the bane of my existence, dude. I got one and like I haven't even like tried to tackle it in forever.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yay!
Hello. Good morning. I'm Lisbeth, and this is WMSC News. For top stories today, a levee in Southern California floods following continued heavy storms and rainfall in the area. This breach is affecting farmland and homes, forcing over 8,500 people to relocate. Crews are working to repair the levee as $400 million rebuild plan is in the works. For local news, Passaic County is awarded $15 million to use for construction and safety improvements on Valley Road in Wayne, New Jersey. The funds are coming from the Highway Safety Improvement Program, which approved a total of $188.3 million to be dispersed for a variety of road projects across North Jersey. The government hopes these improvements will help to prevent accidents and make Valley Road significantly safer. For MSU News, fall registration begins on Thursday, March 30th. Be sure to check out the course schedule and make any necessary advising appointments in preparation for your assigned registration date. For weather today, Governor Phil Murphy has declared a state of emergency in 5 New Jersey counties today as a result of the winter storm forecasted. It's currently 35 degrees and we're expecting snowy weather today with a high of 37 degrees and a low of 31 degrees. Make sure to bundle up for today's cold, and if it is necessary for you to travel, please do so safely. For WMSC News, this is Lizbeth Godoy, and I'm back to you, Aiden.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And yeah, that story relating to the construction, hopefully that gets done in a timely manner because, it's a lot of money being put towards a place right around campus that has been dealing with that kind of construction, that kind of setbacks due to traffic for a few months now. So hopefully that gives it a little bit of boost to get things done. And speaking about get things done, George Calicia,
Yes.
please, would you be so kind to tell us what's going on in the world of sports?
Oh, I would love to. That's why I come to work every day. I love it. So for MLB, New York Yankees legend Joe Pepitone passed away at the age of 82. Pepitone was a 3-time All-Star and 3-time Gold Glove Award winner with the Yankees. The Yankees said in a statement, quote, "The Yankees are deeply saddened by the passing of former Yankee Joe Pepitone, whose careful personality and on-field contributions made him a fan favorite of generations of Yankee fans, even beyond his years with the team in the 1960s," end quote. Rest in peace to New York Yankees legend Joe Pepitone. For NFL free agency kicked off yesterday, and here are just some of the major signings that happened yesterday. So Bears signed linebackers Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. 49ers signed defensive tackle Javon Hargrave and quarterback Sam Darnold. Falcons signed safety Jesse Bates. Panthers signed safety Von Bell. Raiders signed quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Steelers signed cornerback Patrick Peterson. Chiefs signed offensive tackle Juwan Taylor, and Broncos signed offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey, and Giants signed linebacker Bobby Okereke. There were a lot more, but those are just like some of the major ones. And for NCAA, March Madness is finally here. The bracket is official, and the first 2 rounds, which are called the first 4, will start tonight. So tonight will be the first round of the first 4. Tomorrow night will be the second round of the first 4. So tonight, number 16 seed Southeast Missouri State will play number 16 seed Texas A&M CC at 6:30, and number 11 seed Pittsburgh will play number 11 seed Mississippi State at 9 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow, the second round of the first 4 will take place with number 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson will play number 16 seed Texas Southern at 6:30 tomorrow, and number 11 seed Nevada will play number 11 seed Arizona State at 9 p.m. tomorrow. The winners of these 4 games will be placed into the round of 64, and the round of 64 will start on Thursday at noon. And some of the teams, shout out to the tri-state area teams that made it, number 15 seed Princeton. And if you guys recall, last year, a certain 15 seed Jersey team made it all the way to the Elite 8. St. Peter's from Jersey City made it all the way to the Elite 8 last year. Number 15 seed Colgate. No, not the toothpaste, the basketball team. And number 13 seed Iona. And some of the powerhouses to watch out for: number 1 seed Alabama, number 1 seed Houston, number 5 seed Duke, number 3 seed Baylor, number 4 seed UConn, number 1 seed Kansas, who was last year's winner. And for me, I have Alabama winning the whole thing, but I'm curious, what are everybody's predictions for March Madness this year? What do you got winning?
I'd say, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a big follower of basketball, George.
Mm.
But if I had to guess, let's say Duke.
Duke?
I'm going with Duke.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Ivy League school, number 5 seed. I think they got a shot. They got a shot.
I like that. I like that. I like that pick.
Yeah. And you mentioned I mentioned the tragic passing of a Yankees legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 2 Thursdays from now, it's opening day, baby.
It is opening day.
Start of the season. That's coming fast.
Oh man, can't wait.
I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be a great year.
It is
for the sport of baseball and all the other sports.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not so great right now regarding weather. It's the weather outside. It's so cold. Oh my goodness. Well, Emily, you're happy about that. You're very happy about that.
I walked here and it was snowing and I smiled about it. And I was told I'm crazy, and so be it. I love the snow.
That's okay. Well, according to news12.com New Jersey, a nor'easter storm making New Jersey cold, dreary, and wet for the next few days, as Elizabeth mentioned in her newscast. And according to meteorologist Dave Curran, He says that while some areas of the state could see some snow, this storm will not be a snow event for the Garden State and as a whole. Rain and wind will be the major impact of the storm. Curran says that the rainy conditions are expected to last into tomorrow. He says that there will be a 36 to 48 hour stretch of rainy and breezy weather across most of the state. And the roads will be wet, and there's a potential for large puddles to form. Drivers should use caution. And also, snow is possible in areas of the state with higher elevations. Hey, that's us right now. We're in the higher elevation. And coastal flooding is possible, but Curran says that's kind of unlikely. And dozens of flights were delayed or canceled at Newark Liberty Airport due to the wind, rain, and poor visibility brought by the nor'easter. A state of emergency has been issued for Bergen, Morris, Passaic, Sussex, and Warren counties last night at 8 p.m., as Lisbeth said before. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this last time we were here, and it definitely relates to geological differences because just before the show started, my dad texted me from Staten Island, which is more near the ocean level, right? And there is zero snow there whatsoever. There's zero snow. It might be, kind of the same weather, cold and not so good outside, but compared to here with the flurries outside right now, that's not happening with places closer to the sea level. And that just relates to those geological differences. So it's okay though, because within 2 months, we're going to be in the summer. Let's go.
Yeah. No, we're getting there.
Cannot wait for that. And did you guys have class today, by the way?
Not until 2:30.
Yeah, but
I'm
no,
praying.
I don't think any cancellations were.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about any.
No.
For my classes, not related to the snow anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's definitely less severe as we were reading from the News 12 meteorologist. Less severe than the last time we were here. It was. I remember walking to the studio the last Tuesday we were here before break, and we were talking about the plows that were all around campus. All around campus, like making paths for everybody. So I don't think it's necessary right now because it's a little flurries, not so severe, but still, it's cold, which Emily, that must be your best habitat, right?
I love the cold, but I will say that I appreciate that there were no plows going underneath my dorm building this time around. Because like you said 2 weeks ago, they were literally going underneath the building. So I got good sleep because it's only flurrying just about now.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling my class didn't get canceled 2 weeks ago. It probably won't today. And maybe we'll see the snow plows later on,
Yeah, we're gonna find out, and hopefully everybody stays safe, and with driving as well, our commuters who are driving to campus, and hopefully as time goes on, the weather gets warmer, it'll be less severe with that. And speaking of that severity, Jake, why don't you take us into the next story regarding world politics?
Yes, of course. So Biden announces nuclear-powered submarines for Australia. President Joe Biden and the leaders of Australia and the United Kingdom announced that Australia will purchase nuclear-powered attack submarines from the US. They will be used to modernize its fleet among growing concerns about China's influence in the Indo-Pacific. Biden flew to San Diego to appear with the Austrian Prime Minister and British Prime Minister as they hailed an 18-month-old nuclear partnership, given the acronym AUKUS. I guess we might call it AUKUS. I feel like that's not
AUKUS.
That's not the most
Okay.
I don't know, usable name, but we'll go with it for Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The partnership announced in 2021 enables Australia to access nuclear-powered submarines. They are stealthier and more capable than conventionally powered vessels as a counterweight to China's military buildup. Biden, appearing sensitive to tensions with China and its criticism of the deal, stressed that the submarines are, quote, nuclear-powered, not nuclear-armed.
Okay, yeah,
which is an important distinction.
That's definitely true, Jake. I mean, if I'm a person who is really quickly scrolling, seeing what's going on in the news, and I see this type of story, I would immediately when we hear the language regarding nuclear things, definitely brings to mind nuclear weapons, which could
Yeah,
cause mass destruction, as we've
and
learned
it
in
is
history books.
right, and it is a nuclear weapon.
Mhm.
But no, absolutely, and it is a concerning development, right? The
Sure.
fact that this is called for and necessary because tensions are getting to
I
this
mean,
place.
yeah, that relates to the ongoing, like I said, like ongoing conflict with the United States and China, relating back to last month with the spy balloon that was shot down, and then
Right.
China said, "Really, was that really necessary?"
Yeah, do you
So
really
it's
have to do
it's
that?
it's an
Mhm.
ongoing thing, and it seems like the United States is providing this type of of just like not like I want to say necessary, but like um just what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, generally, I think
Yeah,
there is this move towards because I think it also goes in line with what's going on with Russia right now too,
that's
providing
true too.
arms to Ukraine. um and of course there's like a bit of a parallel there with the kind of
Ooh.
fears and tensions regarding Taiwan's
Mhm.
territorial integrity.
Mhm.
So I think that there is kind of a global effort of US and NATO um to like defend against that and try to kind of stop that movement of activity.
Yeah, I mean, I when we cover stories like this on the Morning Buzz or anywhere at the station, I always try to bring up the idea that we aren't the ones sitting at the boards in the military, basically saying, okay, how are we gonna strategize this? How are we gonna mitigate or work through what's going on with the superpower country that we're not on good terms with, and it seems to be getting pretty bad as the time goes on. So, I mean, hopefully, hopefully nothing too detrimental comes from this increase in military power given to all these countries who may not be on the same page with one another. So that's something to think about. And also something to think about is right here in the Garden State. Something that really interesting is going on is, according to NorthJersey.com, environmental activists announced that in a new report that they they want to provide a hybrid renewable energy microgrid, and it's feasible to help the power of New Jersey Transit with the necessity that it needs to work day in and day out. So, for those who don't know, a microgrid is a small network of electricity that uses fuels and fuels multiple buildings. The renewable energy would be used during an unexpected outage, as opposed to a fossil fuel burning backup power plant in Kearney that the agency is currently waiting. The 14-page study was commissioned by Empower New Jersey, a coalition group of environmental organizations, and Clean Energy Group, a national nonprofit organization. Yeah, I mean, we've covered here on the Morning Buzz as well the this ongoing thing that politicians such as Governor Phil Murphy are really trying to incorporate into public life as much as possible regarding the like electronic vehicles, hybrid vehicles for the environment. And
Mhm.
this same idea that we keep covering is that it's really easier said than done, because we already have an established infrastructure regarding the tri-state area with the Garden State, especially around Newark Airport and
Mhm.
the ports around there. Really set in stone things that honestly could be a lot better regarding how they function, right? Regarding how they do work with the factories and stuff. So yeah, I mean, the article says that they're working on a renewable energy microgrid in case something like a hurricane happens,
Yeah.
or something that causes the power to go down. It sounds like it's kind of like a backup in case that thing happened, to keep things afloat in a sense.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is interesting whenever we see these technological solutions to climate change. because there are questions about, you know, the reliability of these technologies, and how, like, yeah, like how reliable they are, how efficient they are.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see this kind of get backed by you know, environmental organization. So that, for me, like, I think is a pretty, like, it's important to know who's funding these studies.
Sure.
Right. And I think having those kind of nonprofit, like, kind of, I guess you wouldn't call them non-interested parties, because they're definitely interested, but not by profits, right? Not by,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know, relating to, I mean, we covered on the morning, like we covered here, I think it was last semester or earlier this one, with electronic vehicles, right? There's a lot of process that goes into them that that in itself might not be good for the environment as well, with like lithium batteries. So there's a lot of ins and outs, a lot of loopholes that that requires a lot of work for, you know, our elected officials and, as you said, Jake, our nonprofit environmental organizations to really look into when it comes to thinking about the infrastructure of the Garden State and you know, tri-state area, and especially with the factories and the power grids, which, you know, already have their established set things in place. And our producer Larry Zaccardi says that it was earlier this month that Governor Murphy said that, or earlier this semester, that Governor Murphy said he wants to plan to have mostly electric vehicles by 2030. Easier said than done. Easier said than done, Governor Murphy. Like, you know what I mean? And if we go on the highway, or any highway throughout the United States today, the ratio between gas powered cars and electronic vehicles like Teslas, really few and far between. You see a
Yeah.
lot less Teslas and electronic. I don't think I've ever seen like an electronic truck, like a trailer truck. I've never seen
Yeah.
one. I've only seen those like ones that let off the fumes sometimes. But that's
Trust me, they exist.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, how long is that? Like 8 years, 7 years from now? It's a lot to live up to. maybe in about 50 that could be like the norm, but you
We'll
know,
see.
it's
We'll see where we're at in 50 years.
yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what driving is like. If we're still driving in 50 years, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, maybe we'll pull out of the Mario Kart 8 handbook and turn to anti-gravity. Who knows? Flying cars?
Right.
Definitely. I was just gonna say we definitely spent our whole childhood thinking that in the future we were gonna have flying cars, but instead we have electric cars. But who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe those electric cars will begin to fly very soon.
I mean, Elizabeth, in a given time frame, definitely not by 2030, but maybe in 100 years, that might be feasible. You know, might have to drive on Rainbow Road and hopefully not fall off because of the railings. But Jake, why don't you take us into a story regarding highlighting some achievements, as if somebody beats Rainbow Road on 150cc in Mario Kart. in the same sense.
Word. Yeah, no. So Montclair hosts Symposium of Achievements of Black and Latinx Males. Hundreds of education leaders and students gathered for Montclair State University's inaugural Male Enrollment and Graduation Alliance Symposium. They recently addressed ways of improving educational outcomes for young Black and Latinx males. Educators, counselors, and other higher education professionals from the Northeast, including Boston, Washington, D.C., and parts of Pennsylvania, attended the day-long event at University Hall. While professionals heard from a morning panel of experts about the educational success of Black and Latino males, including breakout sessions in developing resilience in Black men and stories of degree completion for Latinos. 100 or so high school students from Passaic, Essex, and Hudson counties participated in the symposium's, quote, scholars track at the Feliciano School of Business.
Yeah, I mean, the story I think relates to what Montclair State as a college really provides to people who are looking to get into higher education, and that they really provide a lot of opportunity for minorities, people of color, right? That's something that I think Montclair really highlights, and it keeps the word with all of these student organizations throughout the Student Government Association that relate to highlighting the achievements and the potential of these people, Jake, right? And yeah, I think this is a really cool thing that the university is doing regarding highlighting people of minorities to show that they have what it takes too. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
No, and I think that events like these are always super helpful for navigating any sort of achievement.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to give a lot of props to Student Government Association and President Steiner too, because I remember talking to him way back in the last semester at the start for President Capel's investiture, and he says, "Yeah, I mean, it's a joy to work with all these different organizations to highlight what they're capable of and what they offer to our beloved campus, right?" So I think, yeah, as you said, Jake, it's a really good opportunity to give people a spotlight they deserve regarding the hard work, the talent, and the potential that they have to offer to us and to wherever they may end up after they graduate from higher education. So that's really cool. And listeners, really quickly, we're going to take a quick break here on the Morning Buzz. When we come back, we're going to come back with some more news stories for you. And when we get into a little segment from Assembly McCormack. Yeah. So if you are interested in hearing about that, stay tuned.
You are listening to 90.3 WMSC up in Montclair, New Jersey. We are the border between major cities. We are the border painful. Number three.
So, Jake, why don't you provide us with an update regarding registration for the upcoming fall semester?
Yeah. So basically, according to Dr. Kelshaw, the Associate Director of the School of Comm here at Montclair, the fall 2023 class schedule goes live in Nest today. Students should check out their records in DegreeWorks along with making an appointment with their advisor. Now, note, your advisor is listed in DegreeWorks, and you may also be able to schedule an appointment by using Navigate. Dr. Kelshaw sent an email to all SEM students with a link to the SEM field guide to fall 2023 advising and registration. To access the guide, you must be logged into the MSU Google environment with your MSU NetID and password. Please note that the field guide provides information for the academic programs that were phased in during the past 2 years. If you are a student in one of the former programs, such as television and digital media, like me, you should consult with your advisor to confirm course equivalencies. So like which courses count as those in your degree requirements. So best wishes for smooth advising and registration, and let's hope the website doesn't just crash immediately.
Yes, Jake, that's correct.
I wish you all the best of luck with that.
Get
You're
those
gonna-
CRNs ready and just pump them in.
Yeah, just pump them
Yeah.
in.
ASAP.
You're not gonna be here, George. This is
I don't gotta worry about
if you
it.
want.
Why do
I'm
you
not gonna
know?
do it, but
Yeah,
I gotta say my experiences have been pretty good because you just get those CRNs in
Yeah.
advance,
Yeah.
pump them in, and you're done. I've like forgotten to register, and it's just like, okay, let me do it real quick, and it's no big. It's not a big deal.
But the thing with that, Jake, is I made this the same mistake twice. My first semester here and last fall, because I didn't meet with my advisor regarding the schedule that I'm supposed to make with him, right? I said when you do that, when you meet with your advisor, you can talk about these classes that you need to take, the ones that you may want to take for electives. And then when the time comes, as Jake said, to register, I think for sophomores, it's April 5th between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m., depending on how many credits we have. And once that comes and you meet with your advisor, you already, bam, bam, bam. Okay, I got this class, this class, this class. The mistake that I made was I didn't meet with my advisor. And then I was stuck in a position of having a plan, but it was like really short term. Like it was kind of the idea where it's like, okay, is this class going to work time wise? Not really in the sense, do I want to take this class? Is it going to help me? Like, I mean, yes, I need to take the class, but I didn't have like time to do it because everybody else was getting filled up in a snap of a finger. And with last fall, the crashing of the Ellucian website. Oh my goodness, that was so annoying. So annoying. Ugh.
I'm very picky with my classes.
Yeah.
I definitely, the course schedule coming out before registration is very helpful,
Mm-hmm.
and I use it every single time. I look through it, basically the entire thing for my major.
Mhm.
So I'm very picky when it comes to the time and what professor to take.
Sure.
So making my schedule takes longer than the average person, I guess.
Yeah, my roommate said the same thing, Elizabeth. He says when I'm making my schedule, a really good idea is to go on ratemyprofessor.com to make sure the professor of the class that I'm looking at is not bad. Because I don't want to have a bad professor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. And I'd rather take, for example, an earlier class, like an 8 a.m. class with a very good professor, than take a 12:45 class with a not as
Or
good professor. I
even-
kind of want to just take the best professor I
Yeah.
possibly can, if that is possible.
Even worse than that, Elizabeth. What about 5:30 to 8s? 5:30 to 8 classes PM.
No,
I
I don't
have
love
one
that.
of those. I
Yeah, I
have
do
one of
too.
those as well.
Ooh.
It's not great, but
I
it's a
have-
great class, so it's worth it.
I have
Yeah.
to say that as someone who doesn't like mornings, I might prefer 8:15s in the morning over
Yes.
5:30s.
Yes.
I currently have a 4:30 to 8:50 p.m. and it's absolutely exhausting.
Oh, that hurt me, Mo. Oh no.
that's obnoxiously long.
What day of the week is it?
Today.
All right.
Yeah, luckily it's my only class, so like after
Oh,
there I chill, but it's still like that's the whole night.
Oh,
4:30 to 8:50.
Mhm. Yeah,
so
You don't
sorry.
stay there the whole time.
we do.
It's
Wow.
film
Every
TV, right?
week.
Film-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's filmmaking too. They decided to have it once and I'm I don't have to take it again, obviously, but I'm gonna check the
Yeah.
schedule once it goes live and see if they made the decision to keep that, because I don't know if that's the best idea.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to what Elizabeth said, regarding, well, I mean, on the flip side of what Elizabeth said, like when we take these classes, I took a really hard anthropology course last semester, right? My professor wasn't bad, he wasn't, but oh my goodness, the homework was endless, endless homework each week, and that was really annoying. But when we're in these classes with professors who might not be the ideal ones for us to take, when we get to the light at the end of the tunnel in the semester, it's like, wow, I just did that. I beat that
Mhm.
class.
Yeah.
I feel like I could take on the world now. So that does, I think that provides a sense of accomplishment, a sense of reward for us as college students, right? And I mean, yeah, just it's a really, really good idea, listeners. If you're a student listening, meet with your advisor. Meet with them, because you won't be stuck in a situation like I was the last few semesters. But yeah, I mean, it's really important to get what you need to get done. And speaking about getting things done for our campus community, according to the Montclair EDO website, over spring break, Montclair State University was the scene of realistic but fictional large-scale emergency response on Wednesday, March 8th, last Wednesday. University police led an active shooter drill involving first responders from Clifton, Montclair Township, and Passaic County. The purpose of the drill was to test and ensure a coordinated emergency response plan with surrounding public safety departments. The contributions from campus police, local law enforcement, and emergency services lent to the authenticity of the drill. Kieran Barrett, interim chief of University Police, said, quote, "It is important that our campus community has a vested interest in campus safety. Our police staff, along with emergency preparedness teams, will present a multitude of topics and scenarios for students, faculty, and staff to ensure they are prepared in the event of various emergencies." So let me just ask this question before we get into the story. How would you guys say the safety is on Montclair State campus as a whole?
I think I mean, I've been going here all 4 years, right? And I've never, thankfully, I've never seen anything, too crazy.
Sure.
And I think we're all really thankful for that, because we know what the situations have been like in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And, this is a very safe area, I feel. And for the past 4 years, I've felt very safe on campus.
Sure. Yeah. And I feel that way. I feel the same way too, George. On the weekends here, I always enjoy taking nice walks around campus, and it's really peaceful. There's no craziness going on, but there are some instances throughout the year of things happening, like in a negative sense, because last fall we got news that a attempted robbery happened at Bone Hall, right? And even before that, the last fall before that, what happened the last fall before that? There was the Hurricane Ida. That was more of like, that was
lots
not
of
like
flooding and stuff.
Yeah, but that wasn't really like a crime thing.
Yeah.
I remember last spring. I'm surprised it hasn't happened this semester, but last spring there was a group of really, really rigid Christian protesters here on campus.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, that.
And I think that is a perennial thing at like a lot of colleges. I think those people kind of make a bit of a habit of coming to campuses.
Sure. And I think that relates to, those people. These people. I mean, we are an open campus, right? Anybody can walk on.
Yeah.
And those, like with the Christian group, they were here because they were holding up really, really heinous signs, right? And I think the motive is, well, if we hold up these signs with really, really mean messaging on them, people are not going to like that, so they're going to violently attack us. When that happens, we're going to sue for cash. Yeah, that's the tactic. But I'm really happy that hasn't happened this year. And just thinking about just this semester too, with what happened with Michigan State, and just a sense of like just the concern for keeping people safe regarding harassment around campus. That's really, really, I think, a really important aspect regarding what to do, what not to do, and how to keep our community safe as much as possible, right? Yeah.
I think it's really
Absolutely.
important that we're doing this because I will say from personal experience that it is very easy to feel very safe in any
Sure.
school and everything's normal, and then you never
Right.
know what could happen. So
Yeah.
the fact that our school is responding in such a way to obviously another incident at a totally different school, really, I
Mhm.
find comfort in that.
That stuff, yes.
That we're
yes.
working towards, just in the worst case scenario, that's something that the people in charge will know how to react,
Yes.
and hopefully all the students, like, we get a little bit more information
Mhm.
on how we're supposed to react depending on where we are on campus. But I'm
yeah.
glad that they're working towards this.
That actually reminds me, Emo. Kieran Barrett, the University Chief of Police, said next fall, in August, the next fall starts August 28th, which is my sister's birthday. That's a sign out though. It starts August 28th, right? August 29th is Red Hawk Day, like opening day, Red Hawk Day, and Chief Barrett said in August we're going to have a student-oriented drill.
Mhm.
And my question is, well, if the semester is starting August 28th, Red Hawk Day is August 29th, it would have to be either August 30th or 31st. It would have to be, or else it would be in September, right? Like,
That's a great point.
it's gonna be one of those 2 days because it would be really, I think really not awkward, but really unconventional if it was in a place where it was at a time during Red Hawk Day where people are happy to be here. There's a lot of positive energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be kind of weird to have a drill during that day, I think. So it would just as a sense reminder, like August 30th or 31st, if it's not tentative, right? Those 2 days are I think where we can expect to have a student-oriented drill,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
So just something to think about. And yes, just to finish the story off, I think we should really, really be grateful for the work that our police do for our campus, right? Keeping us safe all the time and taking the right measures to do that and make sure that in case there is something really bad that happens, they know what to do in the best way possible. And Jake, would you please be so kind to take us into the next story regarding other parts of the Garden State?
Yeah, so this is some really interesting news. Governor Phil Murphy announces that New Jersey's North to Shore Arts Festival this June in Atlantic City, Asbury Park, and Newark. New Jersey will host its first ever statewide arts festival in June. It's a 3-city extravaganza of music, poetry, theater, and visual arts in Atlantic City, Asbury Park, and Newark. Governor Phil Murphy announced to the North to Shore, or N2S, festival would be a kind of South by Southwest of the Northeast. The festival will incorporate scores of acts, shows, and exhibits at dozens of theaters, stages, and other indoor and outdoor spaces. This includes Prudential Center in Newark, the Stone Pony Outdoor Stage in Asbury Park, the Jim Whelan Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, and smaller, lesser-known venues in and around those cities. The festival will move south to north. It'll kick off in Atlantic City near the shore's southern end on June 7th to 11th, moving far up the coast to Asbury Park from June 14th to 18th, and end in Newark, which has Newark Bay and Passaic River shorelines on June 21st to 25th.
Yeah, I think this is a really good aspect of Governor Murphy, like being a part of the community as like a person, as a person sense, not so much as like an elected official. Because I've been to Asbury Park, I think, a couple times. One time I was walking on there. One time I was just driving, and it's really artistic, really meant for people who are really talented in their creative sense and music and art. And I think this is a really good way of just bringing the New Jersey community together regarding the love and celebration for art and music.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really interesting thing to look forward to. I know South by Southwest is such an institution, so the idea of doing something like that based around New Jersey, it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes, how the response is. Is this the start of a new kind of cherished tradition, or is it just a thing that happens? We'll see, I know, like, a lot of Montclair State students, especially here in the SEM, this could definitely be a potential networking opportunity.
Definitely.
Um,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just again, it goes back to that idea of just thinking about what are the best ways to ease the sense of all this crazy news that we've been hearing about over the last few months, and just taking time. It's during the summer. People are going to be out of school, maybe out of work, maybe take some time off. And just taking the time to just do that. And right now we're going to take a short little break for per sec. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Emily McCormack regarding Tunes on Tuesday. So
And
please, if you so kindly would, stay tuned. And welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Montclair. This is the Tuesday Morning Buzz. And now, listeners, we are getting into our segment with our segment host, Emily McCormack. What's going on in the world of music, Emily?
Howdy. Well, I'm going to tell you what's going on in the world of tunes. That would be Tunes on Tuesday.
Yay.
That is our weekly new music show here with interviews conducted by the music team here at WMSC. This year's interview is with Ireland-based band Sky Fever, their guitarist Tyson Harding, interviewed by Friday co-host Nicole Passero. Harding talks about the band's new EP, Even Flowers Die, using it as a sign of hope. He speaks about the meaning of the title of the EP and how it opens the door to the theme of the entire project. He speaks about Sky Fever's songwriting process and how it differs from member to member, and saying that they each thrive off of working on one another to improve their own work. He talks about how the lyrics are written by the artists in the band and are meant to be interpreted by the audience. The meaning that they find is just as important as the meaning intended, which I thought was pretty interesting. The title track explores the concept of grief and how people experience this in different ways, and the possibility of coming out of it on top. Harding also talks about the process of making this specific track and how Sky Fever began experimenting with synths and playing with multiple guitars at once. He talks about the visions for the music video for the song, challenges with making this project, and how the band has evolved to find their genre. He talks about working with more synths and hints at Sky Fever's next release being a more stripped back acoustic version of their music. And so if you want to know more about that, you could listen to Tunes on Tuesday with more music from Sky Fever and other artists, and it airs at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. this semester. You could listen in for new music and good vibes. And in case you miss our latest episodes, no need to worry. All episodes are available on our website, wmscradio.com.
Okay, thank you. And why don't you take us into the top 10 alternative charts?
Oh, I would love to. I'm going to report on the top 10 songs in the adult alternative album chart according to iHeartRadio. This week we have a little bit of movement since last week we didn't have the countdown. A couple of songs have unfortunately left us, or fortunately if you weren't a huge fan. But I personally, there's a song that's no longer on here I'm gonna be very sad about anyway. So number 10 this week, a debut, is Kid by the Revivalists. Their album Pour It Out Into the Night will be here on June 2nd. Number 9 this week, down 3 from the last time I reported the chart, is Sex, Drugs, Etc. by Beach Weather. Their album Pineapple Sunrise was just released on March 3rd. Definitely going to check that out. Number 8, up 1 from 2 weeks ago, is Hunger Site by Goose, a very long album title that was released in February 2022. Number 7, a debut. I am personally super excited about this. This is Ghosts Again by Depeche Mode. Absolutely love the song. Their album Memento Mori will be here on March 24th, not too far away from here. And I believe they just released a single not too long ago that may or may not be playing on the show after the Morning Buzz, 9 of the Times. That'd be crazy. Anyway, number 6 this week, down 5, unfortunately, from 2 weeks ago, is Pages by White Reaper. It was number 1 last we were here. Number 5, another debut this week, is Honey by Lone Bellow from their November album Love Songs for Losers. I kind of liked that title. Number 4, up 3 from 2 weeks ago from their upcoming album Walk Around the Moon, is Madman's Eyes by Dave Matthews Band. Number 3, in the same position from last week, is Off My Mind by Joe P. Number 2, up 2 from the last time I reported, is Tropic Morning News by The National. First 2 Pages of Frankenstein is the name of their upcoming album. It will be here on April 28th. And of course, that means number 1, we'll get to in a moment. Moment of silence for 3 songs because we had 3 debuts on this countdown naturally. Unfortunately, Runaway to Mars by Talk is no longer on the countdown. I'm in Love with You by the 1975 as well. And Pirate Radio by Gene Dawson. Quick moment of silence for all those lovely songs no longer in the top 10. And number 1 this week, up 1 from last show, is Pepper by Death Cab for Cutie from their September 2022 album Asphalt Meadows. Very excited to see Death Cab for Cutie again rising above to the charts. I love Death Cab for Cutie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a really it's a really interesting list, Emo. And one of the songs that disappeared as well was Paramore from their January album, was it?
This Is Why it came out February 24th.
Okay, February,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not in the chart anymore.
I think it's interesting that This Is Why has been on not only the AAA chart but also the rock alternative since its debut back in November. And since the album's release, not even a month ago, it's been slowly declining.
Ooh.
However, Running Out of Time is, I believe, the first within the first couple tracks of the album. I think the first one that wasn't a single. That one has been doing pretty decent on some alternative charts, but I haven't seen it in iHeartRadio's.
Okay.
So definitely curious to see if that song makes its way on here.
And
but
they are touring with Taylor Swift this summer, right? Paramore?
I believe so. Yeah, I think for select dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, I don't imagine how many people at a Taylor Swift concert would I wouldn't say like be excited to see Paramore, but definitely they're not. I mean, I wouldn't say like the caliber up.
Yeah.
The excitement level is really different. A lot.
I would say so. I think that you actually just reminded me about that whole thing, and I think people will still enjoy that, but it is kind of like different scenes of audiences for those. Obviously for Taylor Swift versus Paramore. I feel like with the current trend of Paramore's music, it's not necessarily a weird blend. Like I saw Fall Out Boy who brought along Wiz Khalifa, and like
what?
That was a
I love
weird
that.
combination.
That's cool.
What?
It was an interesting combination where otherwise I don't think I'd be able to say I've seen Wiz Khalifa. So it's not that different I believe in music wise nowadays, at least with the latest album. But I am curious to see how many, Taylor Swift crossover Paramore fans there are. It's not quite the same thing because these bands are within perhaps the same scene, but I believe I've mentioned before that Fall Out Boy is taking Bring Me the Horizon on tour this summer. and I'm personally really excited for that because I love both bands. The weird thing about that, however, is and anyone could possibly disagree, but I think I've seen Fall Out Boy 3 or 4 times at this point. I could say that they're very much like there's families that go there. There's young kids who are like, "Ooh, Fall Out Boy. I heard Immortals in Big Hero 6." You know, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's Bring Me the Horizon, which is a little bit more aggressive, not to mention Royal and the Serpent, who they're also bringing on tour. She's very angry, and I love Ryan Santiago, but you know the vibe. So I know I personally was really excited to see that announcement. Other people were kind of bummed, and I wonder if people had the same reviews when they saw, Paramore with Taylor Swift. But I personally can't imagine seeing Paramore being an opener and being bummed out.
That is
Yeah.
so also hi, it's Lara here. I
Hello.
couldn't help it. Hi. I couldn't help it. Love Fall Out Boy very much. Love Bring Me the Horizon very much. Never saw them live, so that's gonna be very exciting. But I'm very excited to see the jump scare that the young families are gonna get with Bring Me the Horizon if they play their older stuff, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, with Bring Me the Horizon, I think one of their rise to popularity was with the Giga Chad meme with the song "Can You Feel My Heart?"
This is
And
true.
I would say maybe that would be a good jump scare layer for people who are not familiar with that, because I think it'd be really cool. Just at the back in the back behind the band, they could have a big what do you call it, like not slideshow, but like big display. And when they
Mhm.
play Can You Feel My Heart? Just photos of Giga Chad. Giga Chad. Giga
I
Chad
want
here.
the
Giga Chad
biggest
over there.
projector. I want the
Yeah.
biggest
This is so
projector
fun.
for Giga Chat.
Giga Chad.
Oh my gosh. I know, like, oh shoot, I'm forgetting where I'm seeing them. I want to maybe PNC, but I've been
Mhm.
there before, and I know Fall Out Boy does have like visualizers,
Yeah.
and they have all the screens and that kind of stuff. That would be really funny if to replace it.
I wanted to ask you, Emo. I want to ask you. So are you going to any concerts at PNC this summer?
I believe Fall Out Boy is there. Yeah, I should be going there.
Did you get good parking?
I believe we did. I believe we usually buy parking because parking is a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm. Like a
something-
lot to handle.
No, there's something that they did. Like it's a new thing with
Mhm.
at least PNC. I don't know if it's with other places.
Mhm.
Your ticket seat and your parking price are two different prices. It's not in one.
Mhm.
So
It's
that's like $1,000 right there.
it's crazy. And
Ugh.
I've mentioned before, like, I am a concert fiend, if you will. And I feel like the way that you go to more concerts is by going to a lot of smaller concerts where you don't have fees like that.
Yes,
But then of course that means being a fan of smaller artists, which of course,
that's true too. Yeah, that's
I
true too.
am. And I think that it's really important to support your local music scene. But of course there's gonna be the bigger ones where it's like, okay, fine. I guess I'll get parking and a seat for Fall Out Boy because it's Fall Out Boy. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. But no, you're right. The fees are insane. I mean, we mentioned, you know, Taylor Swift, probably
Yep.
perhaps the most controversial with her and Ticketmaster in the last like year or so. Um Also checking out setlist for Bring Me the Horizon, it seems like Can You Feel My Heart trends to be their first song. So I could imagine that people's first introduction to the band would just be that with the Giga Chad meme
Sure.
in the background.
And if it comes down to it, like the price is not adequate, they can't keep up with the prices regarding their ticket or the parking. That could just turn
Mhm.
into maybe Daddy Giga Chad and maybe dive out of a plane, watch it from a plane, or
That's
fly
exactly
there,
what's got to happen.
Mhm.
or levitate over the stadium. That you never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
Do
That's
some
why we're paying for
Omni-Man
parking.
stuff. I love it.
Yeah. I mean you never know. But listeners, we are finished with our first hour. We're gonna take a quick break here, and when we come back, we are going to get into our second hour.
Chaos Hour.
Yeah, Chaos Hour, as Jake says, not like the other girl stories. So if you are interested in hearing about that, please stay tuned. Can you feel that we are back here on 90.3 WMS Saber Montclair? My name's Aiden Ivers. This is the Tuesday Morning Buzz, and we are here for hour 2, Chaos Hour, for our Not Like Our Other Girl stories. Here we go. And before we get into all that, we are going to have some news and sportscasts from our newscaster, Lisbeth Godoy and George Calasiero, respectively, here in the Morning Buzz. So, Lisbeth, why don't you please tell us what's going on in the world of news?
Hello, good morning. I'm Lisbeth, and this is WMSC News. For our top story today, a levee in Southern California floods following continued heavy storms and rainfall in the area. This breach is affecting farmland and homes, forcing over 8,500 people to relocate. Crews are working to repair the levee as a $400 million rebuild plan is in the works. For local news, Passaic County is awarded $15 million to use for construction and safety improvements on Valley Road in Wayne, New Jersey. The funds are coming from the Highway Safety Improvement Program, which approved a total of $188.3 million to be dispersed for a variety of road projects across North Jersey. The government hopes these improvements will help to prevent accidents and make Valley Road significantly safer. For MSU News, fall registration begins on Thursday, March 30th. Be sure to check out the course schedule and make any necessary advising appointments in preparation for your assigned registration date. For the weather today, Governor Phil Murphy has declared a state of emergency in 5 New Jersey counties as a result of the weather storm forecasted for today. It is currently 35 degrees. We're expecting snowy weather today with a high of 37 degrees and a low of 31 degrees. Make sure to bundle up. Today is cold, and if it is necessary for you to travel, please do so safely. For tomorrow, Wednesday, weather will begin clearing up with cloudy skies, a high of 44 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. Thursday is going to bring us some more partial sun and slightly warmer weather with a high of 56 degrees and a low of 40 degrees. And on Friday, we will have similarly warmer weather with cloudy skies and a high of 56 degrees with a low of 45 degrees. For WMSC News, I'm Lisbeth Godoy. Back to you, Aiden.
Take that, Emol. The weather's getting warmer.
No, I will not accept this.
Well, if we happen to know right now, our producer Lars Cardi said it is still flurrying outside.
Good.
Yes.
But later this week, Emol.
I will stay indoors.
All right.
That's what's
Sorry.
going on.
I'm just delivering some bad news about the weather.
bad
will
news.
be
Bad news for you. Not bad news for us.
I am in the minority here. I acknowledge this.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, you know, Antarctica, there's a station there. You know.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
always
I'm
that's
sure
always
there's-
your option.
Yeah.
So-
Always just go there.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll think about it.
I'm sure real estate's not that not that hard to come by.
And
I don't know how it works. You know, it's Antarctica.
I don't know.
I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. And speaking about real estate, Jake, a lot of sports athletes have millions of dollars in the bank, and they have the ability to buy really nice houses. And right now,
they're-
we're gonna hear some really nice sports news from George Calasia. So, George, what's going on in the world of sports?
Oh man, well that transition. I would love to tell you what's going on in the world of sports. Here we go. Major League Baseball. New York Yankees legend Joe Pepitone unfortunately passed away at the age of 82. Pepitone was a 3-time All-Star and 3-time Gold Glove Award winner with the Yankees. The Yankees said in a statement, quote, The Yankees are deeply saddened by the passing of former Yankee Joe Pepitone, whose careful personality and on-field contributions made him a fan favorite of generations of Yankee fans, even beyond his years with the team in the 1960s, end quote. Rest in peace, Joe Pepitone. For NFL free agency kicked off yesterday, and here are just some of the major signings that happened. Bears signed linebackers Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. 49ers signed defensive tackle Javon Hargrave and quarterback Sam Darnold. Falcons signed safety Jesse Bates. Panthers signed safety Von Bell. Raiders signed quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Steelers signed cornerback Patrick Peterson. Chiefs signed offensive tackle Juwan Taylor. Broncos signed Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle. Giants signed linebacker Bobby Okereke. NCAA March Madness is finally here. The bracket is official, and the first 2 rounds, which are called the first 4, will start tonight. Number 16 seed Southeast Missouri State will play number 16 seed Texas A&M at 6:30 tonight. And number 11 seed Pittsburgh will play number 11 seed Mississippi State at 9 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow, the second round of the first four will take place with number 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson will play number 16 seed Texas Southern at 6:30 tomorrow. And number 11 seed Nevada will play number 11 seed Arizona State at 9 p.m. tomorrow. And the winners of those four games will be placed into the round of 64, and the round of 64 will start on Thursday at noon. Some of the teams from the tri-state area, number 15 seed Princeton, as you guys remember last year, a certain 15 seed Jersey team made it all the way to the Elite Eight. Number 15 seed Colgate and number 13 seed Iona. And some of the powerhouses that we see are number 1 seed Alabama, number 1 seed Houston, number 5 seed Duke, number 3 seed Baylor, number 4 seed UConn, number 1 seed Kansas, who was last year's winner. And this has been George Kelsey with your WMSC Sportscast.
Thank you very much, George. Very exciting time.
Yeah,
for
it was a
sports.
mouthful.
Yeah, no, very exciting time for a lot of the sports world, basketball, and baseball and football as well. So
Mhm.
we're gonna see what happens with that in time. And right now, listeners, we're gonna get into signature segment here on the Morning Buzz. Am I in the wrong?
Oh, yeah.
This is so just a little disclaimer as always. The stories that we're about to get into are not our personal experiences. We are just picking some of the most intriguing stories from the beautiful website known as Reddit. And
Great place.
yeah, great place. And we're going to get into a couple of segments right now, see if these people are really in the wrong or they're not, depending on what they say. So Jake, please take us into the first one.
Yes. All right. So this one is entitled, Am I in the Wrong for Blowing Up on My Son's Girlfriend? And I have to say that when I first read that, I thought it said, Am I in the wrong for blowing up my son's girlfriend? Which seems a little less ambiguous to me. But based on blowing up on my son's girlfriend, how are we feeling? What do we think? Does this sound like it's going wrong? Or do we think those girlfriends are up to no good?
For blowing up my, I think girlfriend can mean a lot of few things. Could be a pillow, could be a computer. We're gonna find out. I'd say
right.
if it was a real person, he's probably in the wrong, but we're gonna find out.
Probably in the wrong. All right, word. So, okay, I'm really gonna try to embody this role because you'll see that this individual is quite it's got a lot of feelings going on.
Okay.
So I, 52 female, have 3 sons, ages ranging 13 to 20. My oldest son, 20, has a girlfriend, 19, that hangs around our house a lot. We have a really small house and don't have a lot of space. She's a nice girl, but she gets on my nerves sometimes because she's always over. I really don't think she's right for my son either. So our tap water has a weird aftertaste. So I order gallon water bottles and use them to refill a big glass bowl with a tap. It is not cheap to get water and other groceries delivered. I tell my sons, husband, and the girlfriend to be courteous of other people who live here and not use the water, as it runs out fast in our big household. Yesterday, I caught her filling up her big metal water bottle with the jug water. I calmly told her that other people live here too, and she shouldn't hog all the water to herself. She was rather short with me and said something along the lines of, quote, actually, this water bottle is big enough to hold all the water someone should be drinking in a day. I'm not hogging water. I'm just trying to stay hydrated. I found her tone to be disrespectful and ordered her to leave. She scoffed and went back to my son's room. That's when I got really frustrated. I opened their door and told her she has to leave. My son got really angry with me and told me that my girlfriend didn't do anything wrong. He also asked, why is it a crime for her to drink water? I explained that I order this water for our family to use, not leeches who hang around all day rent-free. My son's girlfriend got a little teary-eyed and left the room and out the front door without saying anything. My son told me I was such a bad person and should have just minded my business. I think she's just wasteful and a brat. Am I in the wrong?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Now we get the
Wow.
context of blowing his son's girlfriend up. Wow.
Yeah.
That is really harsh. Oh man. Calling her a leech.
Leech.
I'm just gonna butt in here and say that there was 100% a more civil way to approach this situation.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's definitely feels like a line was crossed. But I do like, I think it's also like kind of important to note that like, I guess like the nature of the situation itself kind of implies a lot about the broader context of this family's like situation of like, you know, small space to live in,
Sure.
like accessibility to water is like tough, like their tap water is not good, so they get the like gallon water. So like I could definitely imagine if I like it's tough. There's no like explicit stuff about like the job situation or where they're working. But like if she's really trying to like make ends meet and she has to deal with this stuff, I could see how tensions rise quickly.
Sure. And
Yeah.
also, yeah, you go.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna say two things. First of all, jumping off of what Jake is saying, like definitely if there's some like concerns, you know, considering concerns regarding money or regarding trouble accessing basic necessities, I don't think that as far as this person said in their story, they didn't really communicate that to the girlfriend clearly enough and just kind of jumped the gun and went straight into, oh, you're a brat and you're
Sure.
hogging
Yeah.
everything without explaining the situation. Maybe she genuinely didn't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, what I noticed is this I believe, yeah, this mother, she doesn't have any daughters. So I
That's
don't think
rough, yeah.
she knows how to deal with
Mm.
girls at this age because she didn't have any.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that
also-
there's also that, yeah.
And also this idea of like her son is 20. Why is he still living with his mom? Shouldn't he be still getting on the move to buy his own place?
Dang, ouch, Aiden.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say.
What are you trying to say?
Wait, hold up.
It's 2023, dude.
I'm just saying.
If you're expecting people to
That
move out
could
at
be-
20,
Listen,
that could be something that he
In
could look
this
into.
economy-
I'm 21. I'm still living with my parents.
All right. Well, I mean,
Shut out parents.
yeah,
Shut up.
yeah. I'm
No.
just saying. I'm just saying, like maybe to mitigate the way of living in a small house, he wants to spend time with his girlfriend. That could be something they could
Yeah.
look into. I'm not saying like, you know, it's like a blanket term.
Live a life, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No.
yeah,
Like-
I guess you could really go hard on that and say like, yeah, her house, her rules. If she wants to call her a bratch and a leech, I mean,
Those are
go
some
for
harsh
it. I do have to say,
Yeah.
like,
A
it's
leech.
crazy, but also like, I think that like, if somebody asks you to leave their house, even if it's under not the best circumstances and for maybe reasons you don't fully agree with,
Mhm.
like, I feel like it's still pretty crazy not to leave. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
hmm
I don't know.
I mean,
I see where it's coming from, but I mean, it's water. You're having an
That's
argument
true,
over
too.
water, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's crazy how something so like, you know, something so simple as water can lead into get out of my house. You know, like
No, that's. I mean,
I mean, water might be the cause of like. No, I'm
Wait,
not
no,
gonna
no,
bring up like. I'm
that's
just saying,
no, that's definitely
like, if there's a war, it's probably gonna be over water.
Oh,
and
reminds me of the
like,
SpongeBob episode
globally.
with the
which one?
with the
Which one?
dirty and clean, the SpongeBob episode.
Oh, is it back?
Yeah.
And wait, which one?
Do you remember that one
Which
though?
one are you
Where
talking-
there was a SpongeBob episode where the Bikini Bottom and having like we're at war between like the
Oh yeah,
dirty and
yeah,
the
yeah,
clean.
yep. I remember that one.
Yeah.
And I think it also relates to maybe demographics of different neighborhoods because maybe where this person lives, they might not have got the best access to clean water, right? They might be living in because, like you said, it's like a really small house, and that's important. And we have to drink water every day,
Mhm.
and it has to be clean. It has to be quality. It has to be good for us. And it seems like in the story it might not be the case. So, I mean, hopefully, like for the future, maybe like the son and his girlfriend could make amends and with their mom, and again maybe look into saving up money for their own space together. You know,
or they're
if they-
on water.
or their own water.
Their
Yeah,
own water.
their own water. Yeah. So think we get a general idea. Maybe this mom is in the wrong, right? Would you guys say that?
Yeah.
Would you guys concur?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that the mom, I understand where she's coming from, but I do think it was an overreaction. I feel like it could have been a talk to the son later kind of situation and be like, I don't like your girlfriend. She takes all of her water or whatever. But I'm also kind of laughing because if I apply this to myself, I always like if I'm at a friend's house, I'll be like, is it okay if I take ice? And they're like, look at how much ice we had. And then I'm like the opposite
Yeah.
problem. But no, I think that the mom took it a wee bit too far. But I also don't think that the girlfriend's I feel like the girlfriend's in the wrong partially as well.
Hmm.
Come on, be respectful of the water.
Yeah.
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 the water.
A handful of people in the wrong.
Okay, so in the perspective of the mom, though, are we saying that she is in the wrong?
I'd say so.
Okay. Well, the vote for Reddit, let's see what it says. Reddit says that the mom is indeed in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense because, I mean, I feel like there, like, as we were saying before, a lot of better ways to communicate this in a positive manner. Like, all right, Emil, we have a small house. The water is very, it's very, it's few and far between all of us here at the house. We really appreciate it if maybe you could like just cut back, just give it like because it's our water, it's our property,
Mm-hmm.
and your lease, by the way. So it's like,
There's always a good way to approach it.
yeah. So I mean, I think we can agree that at the end of the day, there are some better ways to go about this, to go about some nicer ways. And I take back what I said. It's I don't know. It just came to my head about living with his parents at 20, because in about a month, that's gonna be me.
Aiden's gonna switch up real fast when he turns.
So I take that back. I didn't realize what I said. So to get into our next "Am I in the Wrong" segment, this is the title. It reads, "Am I in the wrong for announcing my pregnancy immediately after my sister?"
Like 2.4 nanoseconds after my sister
Oh gosh.
announced her
Yeah,
pregnancy,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna announce mine.
I mean, I can imagine
One
like,
up on her baby.
Yo, you're not special.
Yeah.
and I mean, yeah, I mean these things, these pregnancies, weddings, breeding ground for drama. Oh my goodness, you never get enough drama, unnecessary drama between families, and we're gonna find out what this story entails for us right now. So my husband and I have been trying for our second baby for 2.5 years. We lost 2 pregnancies during that time, though we only told our families about the first. I'm incredibly grateful to now be 13 weeks pregnant and have been looking forward to sharing that news with my family. On Friday, we had a dinner with my family, my sister, my boyfriend, and our parents. And we decided to share our news then. I decided to wait until dessert so we could leave shortly after telling everyone. Obviously, it's exciting news, but I was worried about all the emotions that could surface for myself and my husband. Right after we sat down to eat, my sister announced that she and her boyfriend are expecting their first child. I was thrilled for her and congratulated her, as did the rest of the family. Once things had settled down, I didn't want to waste the opportunity to have everyone together, and thought it would be a good opportunity to keep the joy flowing. So I shared that I'm pregnant as well. My parents were super excited to be having 2 new grandbabies just a month apart. And I was super happy that my kids would have a new cousin. My sister was happy for me, but she left very soon after dinner and didn't stay for dessert. How could you? You gotta say, come on, dessert. Come on. She called me this afternoon and told me that as happy as she was for me, she felt that I had done a bad thing by taking away her moment. I pointed out that this is my second baby when I announced it for the first time. I didn't have to share it with anyone. I didn't want to apologize because I didn't feel I'd done anything wrong. She finished the phone by She finished her phone call by saying that she didn't think I was really even happy for her, or if I couldn't let her have that moment and take another for myself later on. That really stung. I truly didn't see it that way. I saw it as sharing joy, not stealing it. I also see each pregnancy as being unique. So I didn't feel that this was the right for her. It was right for her to say I shouldn't have said anything because it was my second baby. Honestly, I think she might be kind of hormonal, but I also want to understand from my sister, and I know that I'm not going to get anywhere asking her about it. So I want to be enlightened, Reddit. Am I in the wrong for announcing my pregnancy immediately after my sister's? First off, your sister's in the wrong for leaving before the dessert. How can you do that? How?
Aiden is personally offended by
Oh
that
my
and that
goodness.
only.
No.
Yeah.
You had
no,
an
no.
opportunity for dessert and then you just walked
Yeah.
away from it.
I mean, we covered here a couple weeks ago. The woman had a cake dress for her wedding. Take notes, lady. My goodness. I mean, this is a different aspect regarding weddings and announcing
And
pregnancy.
Yeah.
Important life moments require cake, says Aiden.
Right.
But yes, yes.
Wise words.
And then this relates to the drama, unending family drama
Right.
for these types of things.
No,
Oh my
this is what
goodness.
this right here is why Sartre said that hell is other people. It's because of this
I mean-
dumb stuff.
Oh my goodness! Like,
There should be a reality show called "Am I in the Wrong?" which is
Am
like all
I
the
in
fucking
the Wrong?
stories.
No,
I would
we should
so
make
watch
that.
I
that.
would, and I would like.
You know,
I mean,
because
yeah,
all these
yeah.
stories are something that I would want to like
No.
watch on
I
television.
know.
Watch live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Are you drinking our water?
So
this,
I'm
Can we
curious what
recreate
y'all
that?
actually think about
this
could
gets me
you?
mad. This
Really?
gets me
Only I get to
mad.
call my boyfriend daddy, not you.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Can we just?
This gets me mad
all callbacks.
because it's not like
And cray cray.
it's not like the I don't even know how to like acknowledge the two sisters because I
It's
guess okay,
tough.
the one that already has a kid. It's not like she knew that her sister was trying to get pregnant and then decided to also get pregnant at the same time
Yeah.
and was like, yeah, you know what? I want to sabotage my sister's first pregnancy and get pregnant at the same time. Like clearly they just wanted to have a second kid and it just happened to be coincidentally at the same time
Mhm.
as
Sure,
her
sure.
sister.
I mean,
It's like it gets me mad. I guess is it her younger sister? I'm not sure if they specified that. But the sister who never had a kid before,
mhm.
I don't think that it's right that she like immediately assumed
Yeah.
the
yeah.
worst from this announcement.
I mean, sure, and relating to what this post says, when pregnancy does come on, for women, it brings a lot of changes, right? Brings a lot of changes to how
Oh my
they
God.
interact. So, it relates to. I mean, if you think about it on a wedding day too, it's like all the eyes, all the attention is on two people basically, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
And they don't want it to go wrong. So in the sister's eyes, maybe this did go wrong in the sense that her own blood, took her moment away. But again, I think that's another window for drama.
Yeah, for
Unnecessary
me,
drama.
I think the entire idea of like quote unquote taking someone's moment away is sort of indicative of a pathology that has to have been there before. Like it's not like
Sure.
this just came out of nowhere. Because like I don't know. I feel like this has to have been like a recurring thing of the sister feeling like I guess she doesn't
Sure.
get as much attention as the other one.
I mean, is that really a
Um,
bad thing though, Jake? If you think about it.
Is it a
Yeah.
bad thing that she feels that way?
I mean, just
it's
the attention,
probably
though, just like you said.
oh, not getting attention. It's tough because like I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think they could have shared that moment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And it sounds like this sister, the one
Mhm.
the author,
Yeah.
is well intentioned and just like
Sure.
a little head empty.
So I would say maybe she's not in the wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe she's not in
Yeah.
the wrong.
I'm gonna say that she's not in the wrong either. I don't think she did anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I-
think
I
so
f-
either. And also
think-
just
mhm.
sorry. Real quick considering I think the other sister, not the author,
Mhm.
is also being a little bit insensitive considering that the author said that they lost 2 pregnancies prior to this second one. And that's a really rough situation in itself.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I could see how excited the author would be to share this with her family, considering
Mhm.
that she had been trying for so long and
Sure.
had lost 2 pregnancies and finally was able to successfully get pregnant and pass that mark where they're sure that the baby can have a higher chance of actually surviving.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I don't think she was trying to steal her moment. I think she was just trying to, like she said, share that.
So yeah. So do we all concur that this poster is not in the wrong?
I don't
Okay,
think.
I'm saying
I don't
I'd
think-
agree.
Let's see what Reddit says. Moment of truth.
Oh,
Reddit
whoa.
Reddit says
says
poster is in the wrong for announcing her pregnancy right after her sister's.
Dare you, Reddit?
Okay. If
Yo,
if
those
I-
Redditors neglected kids, just so bitter.
Yeah.
I feel the only thing that was making me question it is I feel if I was perhaps in this situation,
Mhm.
maybe I'd wait for the next opportunity. But when is the next opportunity going to be? And also, if you go in with the mindset of I'm going to announce this, and then someone else is like, boom, announcing same thing. It's like, what do I do now? I had this whole plan.
Sure.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Reddit.
I mean, I think I think we can agree like most of the people on Reddit don't go outside often, so they might not they in their lives this is the wrong thing because again, probably in their lifetime are not gonna experience one of these things firsthand.
Wow.
That's neither here or there. That's not. I mean, not most people on Reddit.
Like all
maybe
those
not-
all those
not-
Redditors at 20 living in their parents' house.
I mean, I'm just saying. Like I said, this came to mind. Take it back, but not everybody. Because
I joke.
most of the people, like most of the people on Reddit, are in that boat. But regardless, we're gonna take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we're gonna continue with some more entertainment stories. So, if you're interested, listeners, stay tuned for all that.
Here's that song again. Here's that song again for the 100th time today. Here's that song again. It's gonna be stuck in your head all day. Here's that song again. It will make you cry.
You love your kids enough to watch that TV show a bajillion times. Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat for their age and size. Show them you love
And that is happening later on today on Tuesday. Howdy Rowdy here on 90.3 WMS from Montclair. And right now in the Morning Buzz, we are continuing our second hour, not like the other girl stories, entertainment stories. So, Jake, please take us into what's going on in the world of entertainment regarding HBO.
HBO. Yeah, that one. So HBO's The Last of Us season finale draws a series high. The Last of Us fans set another record for the season 1 finale of the apocalyptic mushroom-infected zombie video game adaptation. Despite airing against the Oscars Sunday night, HBO said the season finale drew in 8.2 million viewers. Viewership for The Last of Us has consistently grown throughout the season. The series not only has won over gamers with high expectations, but also critics and people who aren't even familiar with the genre. I know like a lot of people don't even know that it was a video game first. The series premiere drew 4.7 million viewers in the US. HBO said outside the US, The Last of Us is the most watched show in the history of HBO Max in both Europe and in Latin America. As viewers watch episodes on the streaming platforms days after the episodes air, the numbers for the series will continue to increase or are expected to increase. HBO said that the series is now averaging 30.4 million viewers across its first 6 episodes, with the first episode approaching 40 million viewers in the US.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you personally, Jake. I know that The Last of Us was a video game before it became a show, but I have not checked out the show itself yet. I have not checked it out.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's really interesting. How this show is received, and how like the decisions made. Because I think I'm a big fan of the game. And I think the really interesting thing about the game was how it used the medium of like a video game to tell the story.
Sure.
And I don't know, I'm really interested to see kind of the point in adapting it to a television show. Like I don't think it necessarily has to like justify its existence or whatever, but like I am interested in seeing what like television adds to the story.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna keep hearing stories about the great ratings and reviews that this show is receiving on HBO Max regarding as it closes for its season finale.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to a lot of the discussion around the ending because both I believe it's very similar in the show from what I've seen to how it ends in the game. And if you like stories with very morally ambiguous endings, this is definitely something that might interest you.
Sure. And speaking about like entertainment and prominent actors and films, right? In the entertainment industry that people enjoy watching as well. This past Sunday was the Oscars, the Oscar Awards, and something really interesting happened during the awards. According to the New York Post, is that Oscar nominee teams has been slammed on social media after her Oscar nominee Thames has been slammed on social media after her elaborate outfit blocked the view of fellow attendees at Sunday night's Academy Awards. The songstress, who was nominated for Best Original Song for the Black Panther Wakanda Forever track, Lift Me Up, wore a puffy white gown that wrapped around the back of her head. And while she stunned on the red carpet, the incredible outfit was probably less loved by those sitting inside the Dolby Theater. Photos of her standing out in the crowd quickly went viral on Twitter, clocking up hundreds of thousands of views. One tweeted, quote, "Imagine waiting your whole life to be at an Oscars and you end up sitting behind a Stratus cloud." They compared the garment to a mass of condensed water vapor. The critic accompanied their snarky tweet with a screenshot that showed a guest craning his neck around Thames' puffy garment in order to see.
Poor guy.
So I want to ask our producer Larry Zaccardi, for our Facebook, or not a Facebook, our Hawk Plus viewers, would it be possible to share the screen and provide them a photo of what we're talking about? because personally, I did not, as I said, I did not watch the Oscars, and I don't really. I'm trying to imagine this in my head.
This was something.
Like I,
this was something.
no, I don't. I didn't
Let's see
this.
if I could share my screen.
Yeah. You tried. You tried that. You tried that.
I have to
Okay.
say
I mean,
that
I
like
do not have access to.
Yeah.
she's
Okay.
certainly stood out. Like
No,
it's-
it's
wait,
I
very
was watching
much.
for a few
it's-
minutes and boom, you could
Let's-
see.
Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna try doing that on.
I mean, the red
on my end.
carpet
Let's see if I can.
is your chance to like show off, these elaborate
Sure.
outfits,
Yeah.
So I mean,
Sure.
that's what she tried to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say she definitely like she had her moment, but I think she should have probably changed.
Yeah, changed at
after
least,
the
yeah, right.
fact, after the red
Yes.
carpet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
Because
Alright.
it is a pretty dress. It is.
No, it's cool looking. It's a cool dress, but yeah, no, definitely, or at least just make it adjustable or detachable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel
it-
like it wouldn't have been hard. I don't know.
it-
Well, I don't know. I'm not a
looking at
fashion
it for the
designer.
first time, it looks like something that somebody would wear during a wedding, right? If
Mm,
someone was getting married one day, it looked like the what's it called? The veil
yeah.
goes over her head.
Oh.
But this looks like a really drawn out, puffier version of that, like as the article read. So I mean, I would be really annoyed to
Mhm.
spend probably a lot of money to attend that, and to just sit behind somebody you can't even see the stage.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Wow.
Something that I didn't notice originally, there were multiple people who won awards addressing the nosebleeds in the
Mhm.
venue. I didn't realize how many people could be packed in there. So
Mhm.
what I'm trying to say is that there's mezzanines, there's a lot of people up and they're not getting the best view either. Imagine being one of the lucky people, not only to attend the Oscars, but to be on the floor. And then you're behind her. And like we said, I feel like, I don't know, you could half these people have outfit changes throughout the night. Maybe she could have considered that, and hopefully just going forward, people are a little bit more mindful. Because again, there's so many people in that room. I'm gonna be like
Mhm.
the lucky 2 or 3 people behind her. Oh no.
It is very funny. I think just at like an event like the Oscars, which I guess is like this media just huge thing, where like a little slip up like this, I guess maybe just a small innocent lapse in judgment can be very consequential. Like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It can be tough. I remember another kind of instance at the Oscars was when the producer of Everything Everywhere All at Once accepted his award,
Mhm.
he accidentally said no person is more important than profits.
Oh
Right.
my
Oh,
goodness.
He
yeah.
clearly meant the opposite, right? Even like having seen the film, like right, it's very clear that like that's not what he meant to say.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He must be a joy to work with then.
Right, like but it's just so tough, like right, imagine being up there on that screen and like all the pressure and like
Yeah.
even being on radio, like we all know what it's like to misspeak on air,
Sure.
but
sure.
it's just
Yeah.
it's so tough.
And I remember, I don't know, it was recently he's at like some music award show. The singer Sam Smith was there,
Mhm.
and
I remember the
they,
outfit.
they had like a really, really puffy outfit on,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
that's I kind of reminded me of the same story, because how would somebody react to sitting behind someone wearing puffy thing? Maybe not around the head, but still, it's visible, it's there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
The
it's
difference
I
was
think,
that was actually like a performance.
Mm.
okay, that makes sense.
Didn't like Machine Gun Kelly recently wear like a really spiky
Yeah,
suit?
yeah. And that's
Imagine
okay.
being next to him there.
and
Mm.
like, did we find out what that was about? Is that like supposed to be a dig at Slipknot or something?
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember. I just
Whatever,
remember
whatever.
that he
Those
had
were-
a bunch of spikes coming out of his
Mhm.
suit.
That was at the AMAs
Yeah, okay.
in November.
Well, I mean, it's just part of the I guess part of the process of being a celebrity. You gotta have the most outrageous outfits. You garner attention more. Get yourself more famous. Pull in those profits. Pull in those necessities. you
The
know?
clouds, the
Yeah.
spikes.
But speaking about garnering a lot of profits, a lot of millions of dollars, Jake, please take us into the next story regarding Colorado Catholic priests.
Yeah, I can do that. So Colorado Catholic group spent millions to identify priests using gay dating apps. A conservative Catholic group in Colorado spent millions to obtain data that identified priests using gay hookup and dating apps. They later shared the data with bishops nationwide. The Washington Post first reported the project was carried out by the conservative nonprofit Catholic Laity and Clergy for Renewal. According to tax records obtained by the Post, the project mission is to, quote, empower the church to carry out its mission and provide bishops with evidence-based resources to help further identify weaknesses in current training. The group has reportedly spent at least $4 million or 4 million. I see 4M.
$4 million.
That's what it says.
$4 million.
That's crazy if they
Oh my
actually have that type of money on the project and share the information with dozens of bishops across the country.
Yeah, I mean this pertains to, I think, part of the process of signing up, like applying yourself to be part of the clergy, right? If that's somebody that's somebody wants to do that, it's a lot to sign up for, and a lot that pertains to that is, you know, really restricting yourself from engaging in these types of things that, you know, just normal regular everyday stuff, right? But if you're in the member of the church, no, can't do that. So I mean, this has kind of been going on for the last like 2000 years, or even like earlier than that, like a lot of restrictions regarding if somebody wants to work for the church, be a member of the church. So I mean, it is kind of weird that like I mean it's not weird, but it relates to like how serious the church takes like having people who want to be a part of their movements, how strict they have to be regarding their lifestyles.
And also the use of online data here.
Yeah, that's like
to enforce this. It's I don't know, it's a lot. And also I'm also wondering how deeply they're vetting this information. Because like technically, couldn't you just register an account on one of these websites in somebody else's name and use publicly
but
available
that's a
pictures?
catfish, right? That's a catfish, Jake, right?
Yeah, but you could just
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah. But I
And
mean,
would
that's
they be
kind
able
of-
to catch that, or did somebody just
I mean,
ruin this individual's life just immediately?
Yeah, there's a lot of variables here, I think, that that like if you go further down that road regarding catfishing, that's kind of like one of the dangers of online dating, because you know, without proper verification, you might not know who it is you're speaking to, you know, and that could be really dangerous, potentially dangerous experience, you know. So because we want to make sure we're talking to the right people, right? And yeah, this just relates to just again the strictness of working for the church, and how like it's over the course of time, it's really getting really small the amount of people who want to apply to become priests, right? Because it's a lot to take up, and you know, you have to sacrifice some of your everyday things, some of your some things that the church, I guess, doesn't seem fit for you if you want to be a priest, you know. So that's just the way it is for if you want to become a Catholic person, like a person in the church. And speaking about other places in the world outside of the United States, according to according to that website, China is battered by rain of worms as residents asked to carry umbrellas. Residents from a province in China rushed to find shelter after it looked like it was raining worms. A viral clip shows the area being pelted with what was claimed to be little worms, which splattered all over cars and the surrounding roads. Residents were seen using umbrellas to take cover as they attempted to continue with their daily routines. Thousands of worms were seen covering cars and piled up in the gutters. While the cause of the slimy creature calamity has yet to be uncovered, the scientific journal Mother Nature Network suggested that the animals were dropped after being swept up by the heavy winds. This phenomenon is not uncommon during the spring season when the popular trees start to bloom. The flower spikes fall from the trees, which are often mistaken for worms or caterpillars by people who are not familiar with this phenomenon. This is definitely a story, kind of gross. Like I can imagine if that happened here at Montclair. One day we were just walking to a class or wherever, and it started raining worms.
That'd be super annoying. I'd hate that a lot.
That would be annoying. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean,
Just imagine worms being in your hair. I don't like that.
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah, like what if you don't bring an umbrella? What if you don't have one on you? This wasn't in the
Wouldn't-
forecast.
I wonder what the weather forecast would be. Sunny with a chance of
yeah,
worms.
I mean, so we are looking at for tomorrow, Wednesday, we are looking at chance of worms.
Yeah.
Chance of worms. So, I mean, if that did happen though, I mean, the worms are really beneficial to the soil and the environment. So I would just say maybe if that just happened, just rush them into the ground because that's where they belong, right? They belong in like a soily rich environment like that, you know. But hopefully, like with this phenomenon going on, there's more research into it, and hopefully, like the people surrounding it, like know what's going on next time it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And speaking about stuff that is still garnering a lot of research into it because it's still getting investigated and it's still being evolving. Security robots are at Philly's Lowe's stores. Some have already nicknamed themselves snitch bots.
I
According
don't
to the
think
Inquirer,
they came up with that.
according to the Inquirer.com, customers at Lowe's stores across Philadelphia have encountered an unexpected sight in a parking lot over the last month. A 5-foot-tall, egg-shaped security robot that makes a cosmic whirring sound as it glides across the pavement. What seems to have surprised Philadelphians most about these robots is that they've managed to survive for several weeks in the city. Some have already nicknamed them Snitchbot. Snitchbot. Okay.
The 5-foot tall egg shape reminds me of Humpty Dumpty. I don't know why.
Reminds me of me.
Well, I mean, I don't think it would be a good idea to mess with the Snitchbot because who knows what's hiding underneath that egg? Could
No.
be.
More eggs.
I mean, could be a lot of things.
Could
Yo,
be.
maybe if you steal a cart or anything, a Boston Dynamics dog will just come up and rip your leg off.
Oh man.
I think it's entirely possible.
yeah,
That's
or
the future we're heading towards.
or in the sense of like a security bot, like if you steal a cart, or if you do another like heinous act, you just might see some metal fists come out of the egg and head towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is definitely relates to AI, how they're like taking over everything, and snitch bots, security.
Yeah.
If you don't do any, if you do something bad, better watch out.
No, really, it is just a whole new level of surveillance that I don't know. I find it concerning. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, or I mean, if people are, I mean, I guess this would be kind of graffiti, but people could get pretty curious and maybe paint the egg robot a certain color.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Maybe
man.
paint over any cameras it might have.
Yeah,
Just to make it look prettier, right? All good
Friendly egg.
intentions. Yeah.
yeah.
Gotta
I
make the
mean,
eggs friendly.
well, maybe they're not programmed to have that in their system, Jake. You know?
It kind
be
of reminds
friendly.
me
Well,
of Baymax, but like
That-
Oh yeah,
not
yeah.
Baymax at the same time.
I
yeah.
mean, well,
Baymax is cuddly, and these don't seem
yeah,
cuddly at all.
and Baymax also like had the health of everybody at its top priority, and I don't think these robots have the same thing.
I think I think any security robot would be a lot better if it just had some soup on its mainframe.
I mean, wouldn't that like do something with the circuit board or something like that? Like, wouldn't it?
Precisely.
Oh, yeah, okay. So get rid of the robot.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure the snitch bot.
Snitch bot won't be snitching anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't think they would like that
Soup bot.
either. But
I don't know. Some chicken noodle soup. I feel like it's worth it.
Okay. Well, speaking about places where soup is also sold across the United States, Jake, why don't you take us into the next story regarding Sunshine State, Florida?
Oh, geez. I suppose they do sell soup there, don't they? They haven't. They can't take that away from them. Ron DeSantis wants to make America Florida and fight the woke. Florida men are starting their engines. While DeSantis hasn't yet entered the contest for Republican presidential nomination, even so, he is one of the leading candidates. In polls of possible nominees, he rivals and sometimes surpasses former President Donald Trump. DeSantis has just released a new book that highlights his pernicious lifestyle and hardline stance on issues ranging from education to public health. It picks up from his first term as Florida governor, when he became well-known nationally throughout his frequent appearances on Fox News. At his victory celebration in November, supporters cheered as he pledged to continue his campaign against ideas, policies, and laws he derides as woke. He said, quote, "We fight woke in the schools. We fight woke in the corporations. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die."
Yeah, I mean, this definitely relates to what's been going on regarding, just American politics in general over the last few years, right? This has definitely been for people like on the political spectrum, if they identify with like conservative or right-leaning politics, like
Far right leaning
something. This is something that they engage with, and this is something that they make sense with. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to play a big role, I think, as Jake was saying before, coming up this presidential election 2024, which lead like based on the people who keep throwing their hats in on both sides of the aisle, it's going to be pretty interesting to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I think it's so wild that last quote is like actually being said by a public official because it's barely coherent.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I really think that, like, I don't know, it's just genuine mental illness on display. But
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, again, it goes back to the idea of like, well, there's a lot of people who live in Florida and a lot of people who are looking to move to Florida who concur with that stuff. I mean, that's just part of the everyday things that we've been seeing, in American life regarding politics, and that's something we're going to continue covering as the months go on regarding like current events and how it plays out, when it comes time for Americans to exercise their civil right to vote. And speaking about exercising rights to go where people please and use their business thoroughly wherever they want to, Chuck E. Cheese still uses floppy disks to make its rodent mascot dance for now. According to BuzzFeedNews.com, the Mr. Cheese lives just like the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. As of today, there are still quite a few technologies that rely on floppies. Boeing 747 jets, part of the San Francisco public transit system. And on a slightly less concerning but no less amusing note, the performing animatronic creatures at Chuck E. Cheese restaurants. In a recent viral TikTok, a Chuck E. Cheese employee shows off the winter 2023 floppy disks sent from corporate headquarters. The TikToker demonstrates how he loads the 3.5-inch disc into a large computer server in order to relay the data for the latest song and dance routine for the robotic animals. This kind of retro tech has long captivated the internet. In 2008, a collector programmed an erstwhile Showbiz pizza place chain's animatronic band to sing current songs like Love in This Club by Usher. you guys want to know more about Chuck E. Cheese, our producer is more than happy to share information about it. This is definitely, I think, like, I mean, to that, like, floppy disks, really? Animatronics in 2023?
I could not be the only one who's this animatronics like freaked me out a little bit.
I mean, me too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
They
we're
definitely do.
we're still using animatronics in 2023, and
I mean,
like get somebody in a mascot at least.
We're
you know
talking about
what I mean? Like,
ChatGPT, how that's taking over everything. It hasn't come into animatronics yet.
yeah, and like floppy disks.
Like, really?
Yeah, I'm just confused why they still use floppy disks for the animatronics. I don't know how
Oh, man.
animatronics work, and they are really scary. And
Yes.
they
Yes.
scare
that's
me
right,
a lot.
Elizabeth.
They creep me out.
That is right.
I just don't understand why the floppy disks are still being used and why they can't switch over to some different, more modern type of technology.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
guess.
assuming they have their reasons for why they still use a floppy disk.
We don't want to give them our most modern of technology. We fear what they may do.
Well, like, I don't know. Like, I know, like, in Disney, you know, the animatronics, you know, are a lot more advanced, and like, at some points, like, I know, like, at the recent, like, Avatar, like, there's a ride, like, the Navi River. There's a, you know, an animatronic that, you know, has very swift movements, and like, you know, very technologically advanced. And I think that the animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese are not that, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of these were built in like 1986.
and they,
And
they should be
I-
refurbished.
I don't know. I wonder if there's any interest in doing that, right? Because that's kind
Mm.
of also like when you think of Chuck E. Cheese animations, like what they are.
Yeah.
So
Creepy,
I
that's
don't
for
know.
sure.
I could see if there's no real desire to update it.
Sure. I mean, that's something that's definitely a culture of its own, because not everybody, that's not one of my top places to go to if I want to have some fun. But you know, regardless, you know, it's definitely a hope. I mean, hopefully they like look into that, like floppy disks in 2023. You know, that's something really interesting. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, this has been the Morning Buzz here, 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. My name's Aiden Ivers. I've been your host, and this has been provided with our co-host Jake Getz, our newscaster Elizabeth Godoy, our segment host Emily McCormack, our sportscaster George Calasia, and our producer Lara Zaccardi. Thank you very much, listeners, for tuning in, and tuning for 9 at a times with Emily McCormack right after our broadcast. And right now, before we go, I have a question for one of our viewers, Mr. Kyle Pepitone. I have a question for you. Right off the top of the-
Hi.
Hi, Kyle. We just wanted to know, Kyle, if you could feel our hearts right after this time of the hour with Bring Me the Horizon. Bye.
I feel your heart.
You're listening to 90.3 FM, WMSC, Upper Montclair.
He's not typing it. How long?